Hello and welcome to Technosociety. I'm Mike McLean, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about some of my favorite blogs and news websites that I actually use to come up with some of the tech news that we talk about in our user group. I'm going to go over here to bring up a browser, and one place I go for a lot of my stuff is called Twit. It is twit.tv, and it is a series of podcasts, a podcast hub. It belongs to Leo Laporte, and some of you who have been around for a while might remember way back in the 90s when TV started covering some of the tech stuff. And first there was ZDNet from the Ziff Davis publishing company, and that got turned into Tech TV. And one of their more popular shows was called The Screensavers. Well, in the course of all good things, that all went away, but Leo Laporte, who was on The Screensavers, started his own tech hub 21 years ago. And he does a series of very high quality podcasts, and these are the ones that I listen to myself as often as possible to find out what's going on. The premier tech podcast they have, the one I enjoy the most, is This Week in Tech. It goes every Sunday, and it's about 2.5 hours long, two and a half hours usually. But it covers pretty much everything. He has a panel that will just talk about what's gone on in the last week. Other favorites I do is Security Now, which has Steve Gibson, and they go into seriously deep dives on the security issues that have come up over the past few days. Another one I like is Windows Weekly, just to keep up on what's going on in the Windows world, usually with Paul Thurrott and Richard Campbell. So those are all pretty good. The Mac stuff I don't do. I leave that to John and Barry. But of course, they also have cover the information, the news that's going on in that. And they have several other podcasts that have intelligent machines about what's happening now in AI, hands-on tech, iOS Today, This Week in Space, where they talk about what's going on the space program, Home Theater Geeks, Hands on Apple, Hands on Windows, The Linux Show. So this is a pretty good area for finding out what's going on in the world. A couple of the other things that I like to go to, places to go to, for what's happening in the tech world. One of them is 404 Media. This one is entirely subscriber supported. They do not do advertising, but they do some excellent in-depth reporting. The current story is about they got hold of some of the deep fake software from China that works really, really well. This is the deep fake software that will allow you to imitate someone on a Zoom call in real time. And very tricky stuff, but an excellent blog. And it gets into some great in-depth reporting. Another one I go to quite a bit is Ars Technica. This is a commercial site, but it is actually really gets some really good stories as well. And it gives a pretty good overview of everything that's happening in the news on or about mostly tech, but some other stuff that just is very newsworthy. Okay, and one other thing I'd like to discuss a little bit is the Apple News Plus, which is available on Apple devices. And for that, I'm going to have to bring out my iPad, so I'm going to pause things for just a second. All right, here's my iPad, which I like my iPad primarily for two things. One of them is my Kindle app reader, and I still think that a Kindle app on iPad is one of the better readers that are out there. And also Apple News Plus. I'm going to click on that icon there at the bottom, and this brings up News Plus, and it does cover everything that's happening currently in the world. What I primarily like this for tech business is if I go up here to News Plus, it has all the magazines that are available. This is subscription, $14.99 a month. But with that, you get access to a large amount of magazines. These are featured magazines. I'm going to tell it to go to Science and Tech. And we have access to a large number of both science and tech magazines. So I find this very useful as well. I really like to go ahead and look at a lot of these here. So these are some of the resources I use to keep up on the tech news. Going to pause that. So those are some of my favorite resources for keeping up on tech news, and I hope you'll find these useful. Thanks, and have a good day.